Hello, Squirrel Tribe. It is hump day, my dudes. It is Wednesday. Couple things I want to start off with just quickly on what happened in the last 24 hours. One, you have Nikki Haley dropping out of the presidential race officially. So it will be, as we've all assumed it would be for the longest time, it will, I'm sure, end up being Donald Trump for Republicans versus Joe Biden for the Democrats in the November 2024 election. So y'all get ready for that. I wish they still had MTV Celebrity Deathmatch, the little cartoon thing that they would do where they'd pit celebrities against each other. It was like a fake drawing thing, but it was highly, highly amusing. If you put Trump and Biden in one of those rings together right now, I can guarantee you it would have millions upon millions of people watching. So MTV, if you ever see my videos, just putting it out there for you. It might be a good idea to bring that back, especially for the 2024 election. The other thing that happened yesterday, besides, Nikki Haley realizing she had a snowball's chance in hell of being the Republican candidate, was Mitch McConnell deciding to endorse Donald Trump. So a lot of things, I guess hell froze over yesterday, because that's what it comes down to with all of these things. It's very interesting to me what happened on Tuesday. But here's what else happened on Tuesday. I need y'all to understand how ironic and interesting and how stupid do they think we are-ish this is. Okay, let me explain. They are now saying the massive wildfire in Texas, the one that has burned over 1.1 million acres in Texas, in the panhandle of Texas, which again is the top of Texas, not the bottom, and over into Oklahoma. They are now saying that a lawsuit is blaming fallen power pole for starting Smokehouse Creek fire. Now, I don't know if you guys were here when we talked about what happened in Lahaina in Maui, Hawaii in August of last year, August 8th, I do believe it was, of last year. I did not verify my date before I started recording, so just FYI if I'm wrong, I don't mean to be. But that's the exact same thing that the official cause of the Lahaina wildfire, because y'all know how I feel about that. Hawaiian Electric said fallen power lines likely caused a fire in Lahaina in August. So not only do you have the fire from Maui in Lahaina that literally obliterated everything that happened to be owned by locals and land that had been there for generations, but didn't touch the resorts and the neighborhoods and things like that, where it was like money, right? Just very interesting there. You have them saying that a fallen power line, a wooden power pole, side note, is what caused the fire in Lahaina. And now you have the same thing happening over in good old Texas, where is it? What's the Texas slogan? Things are bigger in Texas, better in Texas, bigger and better in Texas. I don't know. I'm not from Texas. I don't know the slogan. I mean, I've heard it a ton of times. You'd think I'd remember it, but I don't. But according to this new lawsuit, they are saying a woman who near-lived Canadian Texas was, her home was destroyed in the record-breaking and deadly Smokehouse Creek fire. She is suing the power company, alleging a fallen utility pole near Stinnett, that sounds right. Stinnett started the devastating fire. A woman named Melanie McQuitty filed the lawsuit on Friday against Xcel Energy, its subsidiary Southwestern Public Service Company, and Osmos Utility Services, who is a contractor who is headquartered in Georgia that inspects wood utility poles. Again, wood utility poles, the exact same thing they are saying caused the fire in Lahaina. Not just a downed utility pole, a downed power line, a downed whatever, a specific one, a wooden utility pole. And the reason this is interesting, and the reason I'm bringing this up to you between Lahaina and now here in the panhandle of Texas, is that there has been a big push of burying power lines, if you will. And the easiest way to do that is for there to be nobody that would say it's a bad idea to go through people's yards, go through their land and till it up and put power lines underneath and do all these other things, right? So, I mean, a massive wildfire is a pretty good reason to start tilling things up and burying power lines. I feel like that's exactly what's going to happen here. I would almost guarantee that when it comes time to rebuild, because they've said they've lost over 500 structures in the wildfire so far, when it comes time to rebuild everything, to rebuild back all the power lines, because they've obviously fallen and burned and whatever else, and I can guarantee they're going to go for underground burying of the power lines. And then it's going to be something that's going to cost the residents an arm and a leg, because then it's not going to be done out of the goodness of any contractor's heart or the state's heart. The state might not have any say in it, but it's going to be something that's going to cost a lot of money. According to this, What happened here, and McQuitty alleges that the wooden pole, which the companies failed to properly inspect, maintain, and replace, splintered and snapped off at its base on February 26, causing the fire. As a result of the powered utility lines hit the ground, igniting a fire which spread quickly into an uncontrollable conflagration. I don't know what that word means. That's what they wrote, conflagration. Whatever, it sounds made up, but I'm guessing it's real. Now, McQuitty's lawyer said in the lawsuit, sorry, I'm like mixing all my things up right here. I've got a lot of tabs open, forgive me. So Michael Watts, who was representing McQuitty in the lawsuit, previously represented plaintiffs in, guess where, you'll never guess, Maui and Lahaina, and also in California. What's the one in California? Oh, what's the one in California everybody talks about, where it's the same kind of thing that happened in Lahaina that's now happening in the Panhandle of Texas? Oh, what's it called? Y'all know, leave it in the, no, look, we're just gonna Google real fast. Well, you can't just Google fire in California because hello, there's tons of those. Fire in California that seemed shady. Like, I feel like that's not the same thing either. Paradise, look, immediately I said, look, I literally Googled fire in California that seemed shady. And what came up was, how does Paradise, California look today? So the internet knows that Paradise, California was a shady fire. Look at there, Cook. Okay, so you've got Paradise, California, where this guy represented people. He represented people in Maui, where the other shadiest fire went on. And now he's representing a woman here, McQuitty, for another shady wildfire that has happened in Texas. It says here, his team used fire patterns to identify a specific pole. So they were able, his team, the lawyers, were able to do what I'm guessing most fire inspectors would do and figure out the path of the fire. And they tracked it backwards, I guess, to the pole that they were saying fell down near the McQuitty home, which caused her home to burn and started all of these fires. Now, the Texas A&M Forest Service, they are investigating the fire, which is, again, the largest in state's history. They have not announced a cause. There has been no official announced cause of the wildfires, okay? But there have been plenty of articles and things coming out about how this woman is suing, saying that it's the fault of the electric company. And I just think it's very interesting that is what has been blamed. These fires have been blamed on the electric companies every single time these shady fires have occurred. Now, a lot of people have said, but did you hear what Biden said about the fire? Well, for those of you who have not heard, I feel like we could just do a little trip down memory lane here. And I'm going to read this, y'all. I'm going to read this exactly the way the country's current sitting president in the White House said it. All right. So when I sound like I'm having a stroke midway through, it's not me. It's literally how this man talks. So this is from March 1st. Okay. Remarks by President Biden after operation briefing / Brownsville, Texas. This is the president. This is Joe Biden. Again, thank you. And as my mother would say, please excuse my back. I apologize. I don't know what that's for. I'm not even gonna lie. Hello, folks. Good afternoon. Before we start, I'd like to say a few words about the devastating wildfires that are scorching the Texas Panhandle and northwest Oklahoma. You know, yesterday, one of the biggest fire events in Texas history, with more than 1 million acres of Texas land burned. From the start, I directed my team to do everything possible to help protect the people and the communities threatened by these fires. But did he, though? Where the proof at? Anyway, in response to specific requests made from the state, we already have more than 500 federal personnel working on fire suppression. That includes the deployment of 100 federal firefighters and more on the way, as well as dozens of additional fire engines, air tankers, small planes, helicopters to help fight the flames. That's exactly how it's written. I'm not making it up. He forgets words as he's saying them. It's right there. The is right there. He forgets words as he's saying them and keeps on going. All right, let's get back. And FEMA has already guaranteed that Texas and Oklahoma will be reimbursed for the cost of keeping folks safe. And we're grateful for the brave first responders risking their lives to save others. I agree with that. Okay, I do agree with that. We are very thankful as a people for our first responders, our firefighters, our police officers. Anyway. And we urge folks to listen to the warnings from the local officials, listen to them. I've flown over a lot of these wildfires since I've been president. don't know that I would brag about how many wildfires you've had to go over as a president, sir. But anyway, I've flown over a lot of these wildfires since I've been president. As a matter of fact, I've, in a helicopter in the west to the southwest, in the northwest, flown over more landed, burned to the ground, all the vegetation gone, than the entire state of Maryland in square footage. I need everybody to understand right now, if my child wrote a paper or wrote anything for school and turned it in like this, her language arts teacher or her ELA, whatever it's called now in school, would be like, ma'am, what is this? Redo it. You have failed. Because anyway, the idea, y'all, this is where it gets really good. Are you ready? You're ready. The idea there's no such thing as climate change. I love that, man. I love some of my Neanderthal friends who still think there's no climate change. This little mofo just called people who don't believe all the crap that's going on Neanderthals. Don't think that's how you should talk to your constituents, Mr. President, right? Anyway, but it's getting better. Are you guys ready? It's getting better. Well, my administration is going to keep building on the progress we've made fighting climate crisis, and we're going to help folks rebuild themselves in the wake of these disasters. Here's the good part. Y'all ready? Here we go. Just pay attention. And we rebuild to the standards that are the up-to-date standards and building codes and the rest. Because if you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. Just pausing for effect. Because y'all know. You know. And anyway, since I took office, FEMA has provided Texas alone over $13 billion in 3 years in disaster relief after fires and winter storms across the state. And when disasters strike, there's no red state or blue state where I come from. There are just communities and families looking for help. Bullshit. I'm sorry. I got a little, I guess he forgot East Palestine for an entire year, in the red state. But okay, we're just going to keep going. So we're standing with everyone affected by these wildfires, and we're going to continue to help you respond and recover. Now, turning to the purpose of my visit, and then that's whatever. So, we just, in the midst of 20 homes that are just totally destroyed, one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. Now, there's going to be people who say, well, it's because it had a metal roof on it. So it's not going to burn up like shingles would, whether it's architectural shingles, 3-tab, whatever you've got up there. They're going to say it's because it's a metal roof or because it's a slate tile. What is it? The Spanish tile roof, whatever it was. But we know what he means. Blue? Just blue? Was it blue? Does anybody have a picture? Was it blue? That's the only question I have. So just wanted to bring that to your attention, though, because everything right now reminds me of Lahaina. And speaking of Lahaina, the people there are still getting screwed left and right. In case anybody is curious, let me find this thing so my husband and I, we go back and forth all day long talking about what's going on in our country, in the world, whatever else. We have tons of conversations that never make it here. There's a lot of stuff over on Patreon. Side note, if you guys are interested, there is a link in the description. You can join over there, support the channel, get some other stuff that's not put up here. But we have discussions all the time about what is really going on. And I came across an article earlier about Hawaii faces housing crisis as regulatory costs drive up condo prices. Because here's the thing, they still do not have homes for the displaced people of Lahaina. And once again, nothing else has been done besides the initial $700 that, let me remind everybody, $700 given to the homeowners in Lahaina for the homes that were destroyed that they owned. Okay, if the bank still owned it, you didn't get $700. If you owned your home, you got $700, but the owner got it, not the person renting it, not the person who happened to be there when the fire took everything out, but the owner of the home. And at that point, the owner did not have to give it to the person that was renting. It's been a whole entire shit show over there, and I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. But now they're facing a housing crisis because the displaced people of Lahaina are still having to basically hop skip from this place to that place to that place because they don't have enough actual rentals for them to move into. And the state they say they're doing everything they can, but Josh Green over there in Hawaii, I don't know that he's really worth a shit. I'm not sure. I don't live there. Some people may like him. Others may think he's trash. Y'all let me know. but there's still such an issue going on there. And then within August, September, October, I think 2 months after the Lahaina fire, they were like, well, we need tourism back, which obviously you do, because Maui and that area, I mean, they thrive on tourism. Without tourism money, the locals don't have the same jobs because there's nobody coming in. So it's like this back and forth kind of thing. But then the second you start bringing in tourism, then you are displacing the residents who are currently displaced from the fire because you need the condos and everything else for the tourists. So then where do the people of Lahaina actually go? So now they're saying that the median price of a new 2-bedroom condo in Hawaii is $672,000. That is more than twice the national average, y'all. That is a huge deal. Regulatory costs make up over half of the price of a new condo in Hawaii, contributing to the high housing costs, according to a university report. The median price of a new 2-bedroom condo in Hawaii is $672,000. The national average, $300,000, just so we're all fully aware. Long delays in the permitting process, parking space requirements, and other regulations contribute to Hawaii's high regulatory costs. Just everything that's happening there is designed to ensure that the people of the actual Hawaiians, the people, not the people who have moved there from, you know, the rest of the United States or outside the country or whatever, that moved there because they want to have a piece of paradise. I'm talking about the people who are born and bred and raised in Hawaii, who generations down, you know, have lived there, who own the land, who are now being displaced so they can build new condos, so they can bring in the Jeff Bezos and the Mark Zuckerbergs and the Oprah Winfreys and the Dwayne The Rock Johnsons with all of their money, displace the actual people of Hawaii. Next thing you know, Hawaii will only be for the wealthy, the people who can afford to go there, because everybody else will at some point be kicked off the island because they can't afford it. I mean, how many locals in Hawaii can afford to live there at this point? Because the pricing in Hawaii is astronomical compared to even California, to Florida, to New York, because of all the stuff they have to go through to get the products there. I mean, it's not you can just send a semi truck, because you can't. You got to send a boat, you got to send an airplane, you got to send something else, and that raises the cost of everything. And then when it comes to building things, same thing. Labor is going to cost more. Getting materials there is going to cost more. Everything is going to cost more. And the next thing you know, you have all this new stuff built up, all the old people pushed out, and it's just a playground for the rich and wealthy, for the 1%. Anyway, I get a little ticked off on certain topics, and I do apologize for that. No, I don't actually. I don't actually apologize, but I do get a little carried away sometimes. So that's that. I just wanted to let you guys know that they are now trying to say, and by they, I mean a woman, a random person in Texas is trying to say that the electric company is at fault for the wildfire in Texas. And the irony and the deja vu-ness of it is not lost on me, and it shouldn't be lost on you guys either. They're continuously, in my opinion, going after these electric companies. So then what happens? Let's really sit here and think about it. And we're not thinking about it from a CT, conspiracy theorist kind of thing. We're thinking about it from a logical person who has stepped back and looking at everything from the outside in. Now, not everybody watching these videos are going to agree with my thoughts. Guess what? I don't care. You don't have to. Just so we're all fully aware. I get comments and emails from people who get pissed off because I didn't say something a certain way, or I didn't say it the way they would have said it, or I don't have all the information. Guess what? I'm never going to have all the information. Neither are you, boo-boo. Nobody's going to have all the information. I'm bringing you what I do have, what I do know, and what I think. A lot of these things are based on my opinion after I give you guys the facts, right? So anyway, my thought process, my opinion, my personal thought process on this is the fact that these wildfires are continuously blamed on fallen power lines and all these electric companies. Numerous things are going to happen from that. Number one, they're going to make it so that all of the power lines will be buried power lines, which you think to yourself, maybe that's safer. No more fallen power lines to start above ground fires, right? No more tornadoes taking out power lines, no more whatever else. No more having to have a guy climb up a pole and fix power lines and, have the trucks and all this other stuff. Okay, so one, there goes jobs. But number two, also, how do you know when there's an issue underground? How much more expensive will it be to fix an issue underground than it is above ground when something does happen with a power line? These are questions that I have. I do not understand how buried power lines work. I have not gone to school for it. I have not done any kind of research on that, just so we're all fully aware. I do not know how they work, but I feel like it would be a much harder fix when something goes wrong when they are buried. The second thing I think is, at some point, It will not surprise me, and I feel like it will not surprise you either, if there are no longer independent electric companies, if everything is owned by the government, if this is a governmental way of saying, hey, because of your electric company and your electric company and your electric company and your inability to keep up with the grid and your inability to keep, power lines standing or a power pole standing, and your inability to do this, we as a government, we're here to help you. So we're just going to take it over. That way it's everything across the board is run by the government. We have no say anymore. You don't get to shop around for your electric company or your cable company in the future. Everything will be run through the government. That's my thought on that. Maybe a reach, but not to me. It's not. Based off things I have seen and the way our country is going, it would not shock me at all. Just so, So there's that. I wanted to bring it to your attention. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, Lahaina 2.0. Got it. So there's that. Oh, and also right now they're saying so far 3,600 confirmed cattle have been killed in the wildfire, which is a lot, but thankfully it's not enough that should cause any kind of disruption to your grocery stores or to pricing. And if it does, then that's how you know they're effing with us, because 3,600 cattle out of millions should never cause a price increase or a mad dash to the grocery store for empty shelves of beef. Okay. Let's all understand that, okay? Listen, I love you, Squirrel Tribe, immensely. Again, links in the description for all kinds of fun stuff. Butcher Box, Hervé Lucende, Patreon, Squirrel Tribe gear, which I'm not wearing today. It's fine. Anything else? I don't think so for today. There's probably more. Maybe I'll make another video later. But for now, I think we're done. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your hump day, my dudes. And I will see you guys later. Love you all. Bye.